Baada taarifa moja hapa ambapo mtazamaji naarifu kwamba katika eneo la Safari Park Jaji mkuu Martha Koome anahudhuria sherehe ya miaka 55 ya shirika hili la UNICEF ambayo inafanyika katika eneo hilo la Safari Park, bila shaka 75 miaka. Hebu kwa sasa naomba tulekee kule na tuwasikize moja kwa moja.
Care are all met. The commitment to this ideal by UNICEF is evident from your work since 1971. It has helped our country achieve important results for children, including the universal primary education and the eradication of polio. In addition, we have seen the importance of UNICEF during the COVID-19 pandemic, when it reared its ugly end in Kenya in March 2020, the organization made significant contributions towards bringing vaccines to Kenya, providing hand-washing facilities to schools and vulnerable communities, and supporting remote learning and helping our children return to school. Your Excellency, the First Lady, ladies and gentlemen, beyond the provision of basic needs, children ought to be protected from violence, exploitation, abuse, and discrimination. Children are vulnerable, and we all stand in local parentis to be their protectors. The implication is that the promotion and protection of children's rights and well-being must be a core concern of our system, and including our government and also the justice sector. Despite the fact that Kenya has embraced progressive normative standards that my colleague, Honorable Senator, spoke about, the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child and the African Charter on the Rights of the Child, including the adoption of the 2010 Constitution and also the enactment of our Children's Act 2001 and the ratification of other regional protocols on the rights of children, Kenyan children remain vulnerable, and their rights and interests are routinely violated within our society. Sadly, this state of affairs of neglect of children's rights is evident more in the justice sector, where our laws, policies, procedures, and practices have tended to reinforce and not ameliorate the plight of children. Given this context of an implementation gap of the normative standards, putting in place a child-sensitive justice system that is responsive and designed to the needs and needs of the children is vital. A child-sensitive justice system protects and safeguards the rights and interests of children who are in conflict with the law. It also protects child victims, protects child witnesses, and children in need of care and protection. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, it is in this context that we have had very, very successful collaboration with UNICEF in the quest by the National Council on the Administration of Justice, trying to reform and make our justice system child-friendly. Alive to the constitutional concern for a child as a vulnerable group in the society, and this is recognized in Article 21(3) of the Constitution. Our former Chief Justice, Dr. Willy Mutunga, in January 2016, appointed a multi-agency special task force on children matters and vested it with the mandate of reviewing all the laws, all the systems, all the procedures on how children's rights and interests can be protected within the justice sector. Because it was realized when children come in the justice sector, they suffer more and they emerge worse than when they entered the justice sector. I was privileged to chair the task force on children matters for 4 years before I became the Chief Justice and the President of the Supreme Court. And we were generously supported by UNICEF. From January 2016 to November 2019, we grappled with the question of what should be done to make the administration of justice to children in Kenya effective, efficient, and accountable. How can we connect with the communities and inculcating them the value of nurturing our children? After traveling throughout the country and engaging with those dealing with matters related to juvenile justice, we came up with a report that we launched 3 years ago, which was a call to action to the state and other actors in the child justice space to work individually and collaboratively to make the justice system effective and efficient to the principle of the best interest of the child. Our report reveals that the whole justice system is a broken chain link that denies children, both as victims and also children in conflict with the law, their rights. The report indicates that the child justice chain link is broken at multiple points and can only be fixed with vision, commitment, collaboration, and political will. But it is fixable, it can be fixed. Given that the Children's Act was enacted in 2001, and we have benefited immensely from the provisions of the 2010 Constitution that spells out the rights, protection, and the best interest of the child, and considering also the emerging issues affecting children, the multi-agency task force recommended a law review. We developed many policies, practice directions, and standard operating procedures intended to protect children and also aid those who work in the children's sector to know who is a child and how best to protect the child. In the end, the task force recommended legal, policy, and procedural reform under the banner of what we called a call to the Big Seven, call to action. We were trying to mimic the government who were talking about the Big Four. So we were talking about the Big Seven for the children. The task force developed recommendations and products that address the gaps identified, and this include the Children's Bill, which Your Excellency is lying in the floor of Parliament. Parliament has...
Na bila shaka mtazamaji, hapo ni Jaji Mkuu Bi Martha Koome akizungumza katika adhimisho la miaka